So this week's episode of Children of the Whales was a very action-oriented episode, and typically when you just have more or less action, it can be a little repetitive with a lot of its aspects, especially if it's not an action-focused series, but I felt like this week's episode actually had a lot of emotion and power behind it, especially because this episode pretty much kicks off with a beautiful song being sang by one of those sisters, the first of which is now inside the mud whale kind of repairing it. And I like those types of moments when an anime or a show or any sort of story, it will pull away, and even if the song has no significance to the actual like fighting or anything like that, but it's just like a ballad for the troops fighting, I always find those little songs and those little moments will just spark the emotion that you're going to need for that fight. And I felt like just this very beautiful song that was being sang and the way the piano and all the other instruments that were just working throughout this fight, it just really added to the emotion. So as the fighting was going on for the first little bit there, it just really got you immediately invested in the episode, and nothing came across as just mindless action, at least for myself here. And I just really like all the little moments sprinkled throughout this episode where you have so many little things that might go overlooked by many, just mainly focusing on the main plot at hand, which is infiltrating their ship and killing off their whale, which I thought was pretty interesting in the sense that you have these little moments where you're going to basically focus on children with their bows, and they're going to be killing people in the air, and they're cheering because they're kids. They're not actually fully understanding what they're doing. They don't actually comprehend the fact that they're taking a life. And you'll see one of the adults look over at them and be very kind of disappointed that they're cheering and that they have to use these kids in order to kill people, because you're seeing from a child's mentality like, oh yeah, did you see that? It was so cool that I just killed that person. Not fully understanding what it is they're doing, and then you'll see the more adult characters just being like, get the hell out of here. And just like all the little moments sprinkled throughout like that, because it really built on the fact that this is a pretty big battle, and you're throwing in kids because you need to throw kids in. And there was even a decent amount of info dropping as well. Like, there's something that I wasn't really thinking about it, but I'm glad they did bring it up, where Leokis is pretty much saying that she now understands 100% that the people on the Mud Whale Island, 100%, their thema is stronger than the invaders, the Imperial Army, or whatever they're called there, which doesn't surprise me in the sense that these are people who've never had their emotions drained from their body, versus the Imperial Army, who constantly are just these mindless robots in a lot of ways, in the sense that they don't have emotion. So if you have an island where a part of you is being sucked away and fed into a giant beast, it's no surprise to me that the island that doesn't do that has stronger kind of magical abilities. And I just like that they did bring that up, because even though I wasn't thinking about it, I could see someone possibly bringing that up as maybe a plot hole of why are they stronger if they never got around to it. So I appreciate the fact that they actually did add that into this episode. Even having one of the elders redeem himself, saying like, I believe in your plan and I want to see this through, sacrificing his life for the kids. There was just a lot of stuff minus the big plot point of the episode that I just felt like it made the battle feel like something that was alive. The only character I still really don't have any fondness towards is that evil crazy guy on the enemy side there who's kind of a little psychopathic. I'm not really a fan of that kind of character trope, but it's nothing that ruins the episodes for me, but it's just like, can you just kill this character off or just send him away, please? Because he's not really doing anything for me. But hopefully Suo is going to be able to do something. I doubt it, but you'll never know how that's going to go, because obviously their own version of the crazy man is going to be fighting him, so who knows what Suo's going to do. Maybe he'll pick up his sword and stab him in the back during that fight. Who the hell knows what's going to go on there. But I also did like kind of how the infiltration mission went, because you're seeing a character like Chakra who, he's not a fighter. Like, he did defend himself once and did a very good job. He's one of the strongest Thema users on their island, but he's not a fighter, so it's no surprise that he's kind of like scared and he doesn't want to go on this mission. But how the episode progresses and how he starts defending his allies, it gives you this sense of hope. But once you see Leokis and the others kind of go into that tunnel, you know something's bad's gonna happen, but I did appreciate the fact that they at least put in a main character, because if it was all just side supporting characters, you'd be like, oh yeah, they're all going to die. But because they did send in one of the main characters, it gave you a sense of like, you didn't know how bad this could truly get. So when they open up those curtains or whatever, and they get mowed down, it is a little shocking just how bad their plan failed, and ultimately how are they going to defeat this, because once they enter that room, they can't use their ability, so it's gonna be all hand-to-hand combat. Though Oni is coming in, so obviously he can be able to fight well, but against all those guns, who the hell knows what ultimately is going to go down next week. But I felt like the action-focused stuff, it was good. There was a lot of variety to it with the bow and arrows, the swords, all that kind of stuff, but it gave you a sense that these battles had importance, and even the little stuff with the children to the elders, it just felt like it all worked quite well. And this was a beautiful looking episode. The way the art was working, all this, the little effects in the air from the sand blowing in characters' faces, This was a gorgeous episode, and the instrumentals with all individual tracks backing these scenes were phenomenal. I think this is the best sounding episode, hands down, of Children of the Whales. I'm really enjoying the series, and I can't wait to see where it's going to go next week, especially after that cliffhanger. But let me know your thoughts. What did you think of episode 7, and how do you think episode 8 is going to go down? Now that everything kind of hit the fan, let me know your thoughts. And before I leave, smack that like button to show your support. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.